they are not telling us publicly in the media is that some of our outstanding debt is hinged on the AAA credit rating. And some of our debt, as we speak, the interest rate on that debt is being raised as a result of the credit rating being lowered. It's kind of like you with your credit card company. They'll give you a certain preferred rate if your credit status is high enough, but if your credit status is lowered, then your interest rate is raised. That's what's going on today with the various credit card companies. That's also what's going on with our national debt. Well, what does that really mean? Well, if we couldn't afford to service the interest rate on the debt before, we certainly can't afford to service the interest rate on the debt now. What will that do to our credit rating? Well, I think the result of that is pretty obvious. We're in a downward spiral so fast that it can't be stopped unless we have some serious adjustments made by our current administration and our Congress. You know, I read a lot today that bonds are a safety haven from the stock market. So I want to talk to you first about the stock market, and then we'll talk about bonds. This is the first time ever that the largest segment of the population today, which is those people that are 65 and over, what are we doing? I say we because I'm 65 and a few months over. So what are we doing? For the first time ever, we're starting to drain our resources, our financial resources, because we cannot live on the interest. Our parents lived on the interest from their CDs or their bonds, etc. Many of us seniors cannot do that. So as a result, we begin to use some of our principal and some of our interest, hoping the principal will grow back as a result of market performance. We're taking way too much risk. Also, here's something very subtle, but if the largest segment of the country today is using or spending part of their assets, what is that doing to the value of the stock market, the bond market, the real estate market, and other places? I contend it could take more than 10 years for we begin to work this out. It's not only a factor of the stock market will come back. That's what the stockbrokers tell us. The stock market rises and the stock market falls, and the stock market will come back. It may, but in addition to whatever economic positives are creating the stock market up, the largest segment of the population is pushing the stock market down, creating a pressure that may very well not be able to stand. So as a result of this thinking and risk and the account and the money that people have lost in the markets in 2008 and 2002, there seems to be a flight or an attitude that maybe they should go to bonds. Well, here's why we should not go to bonds. This is a given. As interest rates go up, the value of bonds go down. Now I ask you, do you believe in our retirement lifespan, not forever, but in our retirement lifespan, do you believe that interest rates are going to be higher than they are today? They have to be. They're at an all-time historic low. I'm not talking about next month. I'm talking about next year and the year after that and the year after that. Interest rates have got to go up. And if interest rates go up, then the value of bonds goes down. So people who are thinking that they're going to take a flight from the risk of the stock market into the safety of bonds for fixed income, they're in for a very serious shock later when in fact the flight of safety that they took is into the very asset class that must go down in value, therefore losing their money. You know, that's my commentary on stocks and bonds today. We can come back with this with another meeting talking about the kinds of assets that we could own, that are alternative assets to the stock market and the bond market, assets maybe that aren't being discussed in your world today. So until our next meeting, have a great life. God bless.